Okay, so hello everyone and welcome to GAA Fan TV. Welcome back. We are here again to talk about this weekend's action, or the weekend just gone actually. Talk a bit about what's happened, breaking things down, breaking down the matches, and yeah, let's get into it. So, first of all, if you are new to the channel, do drop a like and subscribe. We'll hopefully be doing this every week between now and the end of the season. So yeah, just drop a like, subscribe. Watch out for some more content coming up on the channel. It's going to be a very exciting couple of months, I feel, in the world of GAA. So let's get on it. Alright guys, so first of all we'll talk about Dublin versus Kildare. Dublin winning 217 to 210. Really good performance in the end by Dublin. They took a while to get going. In the first half they were actually a bit slow to get into the groove. Obviously the team had been away on a 2-week holiday in South Africa, I believe it was. So they hadn't really had time to train. I think it was only like 2 weeks training going into this game, and they were definitely pretty rusty in that first half. Kildare took an early lead. Luke Flynn got himself a goal at the end of Hill 16, and it was a great start by Kildare. I had to kind of judge them off this game, obviously, because Dublin were certainly very, very rusty. But they had a lot more chances towards the end of the half as well. Daniel Flynn missed a couple of big opportunities to get another goal for Kildare. They didn't quite take them, and then the second half came. Dublin came out re-energised. A really, really good performance in the end. From Brian Fenton, who was definitely man of the match in this game. He ran the show in midfield. He was winning balls. He was scoring points, and even got himself a goal as well, which was absolutely fantastic. Dean Rocco, of course, got the other goal as well, so it was just a really really good performance in the end by Dublin. Kildare did get another goal late on from Daniel Flynn, but in the end, Daniel Flynn actually got that goal. But in the end, Dublin did do enough and did get themselves the victory. And then we have Monaghan against Mayo. Pretty interesting game, this one, of course. Of course, we're seeing how can Mayo respond from the All-Ireland defeat of last season, and how will they go going into the league season. They normally are quite slow starters, and they weren't exactly amazing in this game, but they certainly did do enough to get past a very resilient and very good defensive side in Monaghan. Monaghan, of course, kicking 12 points. Mayo 13. Paddy Durkin in the end with the winner. Monaghan, of course, was a very good start there from Monaghan. With Mayo, who did interchange a lot. They brought some new young players into the team as well, which I think is essential. And you can see with Stephen Rochford after the game, actually how happy he was to see that his team had in fact started with a win. Of course, in previous seasons in the National League, they've started with defeats. So this was a huge win for Mayo to kick-start their campaign. Galway were also victorious as well. They went ahead and beat Tyrone by a goal and 9 points to Tyrone's 8 points. A very good victory for Galway, of course. Their first time in Division 1 in 7 years, I believe it is, or 6 years or something like that. So this is a really good statement by them, coming up, playing against probably one of the best 4 teams in the country and getting a win pretty convincingly. They looked very, very good in this game, you have to say. Shane Walsh had a fantastic game. They were, bossing the midfield. They were going really good on the attack. Pretty disappointment from Tyrone. I mean, they did interchange a lot. They were heavily criticised actually on Allianz League Sunday, but I think that was a bit harsh, to be honest. I still think there's a lot more to go for Tyrone. We know they don't normally take the league serious anyway, and they'll be looking towards that Ulster campaign, looking towards the All-Ireland series as well. So still a lot more to go for Tyrone, but they are playing Dublin next week at home, so that's going to be a big game for them. It'll be very interesting to see how they can respond. But a great start for Galway, of course. A lot of people maybe would have been expecting them to be down around the relegation places. So to kickstart their campaign with a win, that is absolutely perfect. Perhaps the game of the weekend, though, came down in Killarney as Kerry beat Donegal 2-18 to 3-14, and what was just an outstanding game of football, really. From the very get-go. I mean, first game of the National League, and it was just really entertaining. Have to give big credit to Donegal. They looked really good this game. They took it to Kerry. They didn't quite sit back like they're used to. Maybe that's given us an indication that Donegal are actually going to attack this year. Of course, they brought in some new players as well, which was interesting. But of course, Kerry did have a lot of new players. Michael O'Shea, I believe, or Sean O'Shea, looked very good. I believe he scored like a goal and 8 points or something like that. So he looked very good. There was also David Clifford, of course. A lot of people expecting big things from him. We didn't see too much of him in this game, but of course it's going to take him time to adapt into this Kerry team, and that's obviously why, you know, they're playing now. Because they're being thrown straight into the limelight. And yeah, I mean, Kerry could be a team to watch out for this year. Really good victory for them in the end, because I think Donegal gave them a good performance. I mean, they did have 2 players sent off, which was, you know, maybe a bit of a contributing factor for Kerry going into the final stages. But in the end, Kerry get the win. I think Paul Gainey got the other goal as well. So really good performance from Kerry, and it'll be interesting to see what they do now next weekend. Good result as well, of course, for Cavan, who beat Clare 209 to 112. So that was a good result for them. Kickstarting their campaign with a win, hoping to get back into Division 1. Of course, on another note, good wins for Westmeath, who went ahead and beat Derry, I believe it was. That was a good win for them. Armagh, of course, getting a good win against Sligo. So some interesting performance there as well. I think Carlow got off to a winning start as well. They didn't play amazing against London in that Division 4 tie, but that was certainly a very, very good result. Wins as well for Laois, who beat Limerick 212 to 9 points. So all in all, some very interesting results there. And of course, as the weeks go on, we'll gain more of an understanding of you know, teams starting 15s and whatnot, and how things are going to go. But anyway, we touch on Division 2 a little bit. Roscommon drew with Meath 2-12 apiece. I was actually quite impressed with Meath in this game. They didn't quite, you know, sit back as much as I thought they would have. And Roscommon, you know, coming on the back of a very good campaign last year. Obviously, they were hammered by Mayo in the All-Ireland quarters. But I was interested to see how this would go. Meath put in some good performances in the O'Byrne Cup, so it was interesting to see if they could continue that momentum going into this game. And they were probably a little bit unlucky in the end, having dominated the game at brief periods, to come away with a draw. There was also a game, Tipperary completely dismantled Cork in a brilliant second half performance, winning 3-16 to 1-16. Disappointed with Cork, in all honesty. I thought they'd do a lot better here. The fact the game was at Páirc Uí Chaoimh, you know, the opening game and all that, I thought they'd raise their occasion, raise the stakes a little bit, but they didn't quite do that. They were actually quite poor. Tipperary, they look pretty good with the likes of Michael Quinlivan getting a goal as well, and it'll be interesting to see if they can, you know, play with the same kind of form they had 2 years ago when they reached an All-Ireland semi-final. And certainly you would look at this division and think that Tipperary could be the contenders to win the Division 2 title. There was also some other interesting games as well. Down beat Louth 114 to 11 points. Of course, many people would expect Louth to be finishing bottom of Division 2, or at least thereabouts, along with Clare. So really good result for Louth. Moving on to hurling, and there were also some very interesting games to look at here. Most notably the game between Cork and Kilkenny at Páirc Uí Chaoimh as well. Of course, John Myler's Cork, looking how they will do this year. How will they, you know, maybe take it to the next level this season, how well they might do. And they actually done very, very well. They won this game 124 to 24 points, despite some good performances from Kilkenny. There was, and I think there was, you know, some other good performances from Walter Welsh and Padraig Walsh as well. So some good performances by Kilkenny, but Cork just having a bit too much in the end. I suppose it will be interesting to see how Kilkenny do this year, of course, coming on the back of, you know, disappointing year last year from their standards. Didn't win anything last year, which is, you know, very rare for them. So it will be very, very interesting to see how they respond. But yeah, big ups to Cork. They've done very, very well to kickstart their campaign with a win. And I believe they're playing Waterford next weekend, I believe. So that will be interesting to see how they do. Speaking of Waterford, they obviously lost to Wexford. I believe they hit like 19 points. Wexford winning 120. So, you know, they could be outside contenders, Wexford, this year. Davy Fitzgerald, of course, has won an All-Ireland medal before when he was manager of Clare. And it will be interesting to see, obviously, how he will do with this Wexford team. A lot of people thinking Wexford can be contenders this year. And they've started really, really well. You've got to say, the fans believe that this could be their year. And they look very, very good. They really took the game well to Waterford, hitting some fantastic points at a really high standard as well. So fair play to Wexford. Another interesting game, of course, was Clare and Tipperary. Clare winning this game 121 to 19 points. Of course, a lot of anticipation in Clare to get off to a quick start this year, to continue a bit of momentum going into the championship this year. And they want to, of course, hit the heights that they reached back in 2013 when, of course, Shane O'Donnell was instrumental as Davy Fitzgerald's Clare won the All-Ireland. And it's going to be interesting to see if they can repeat the same this year. I'm not too sure if they can, but they certainly did get off to a really decent start against the Tipperary team. that did bring in some young players. They played a couple of different players in different positions and stuff. They changed around their midfield quite a bit, and it was an interesting game. But in the end, Clare just about got the job done with a late goal late on, I believe it was, from David Reedy. So that was a good performance in the end from Clare. And there was also some other interesting matches in Division 2. Galway beat Antrim 119 to 116. This was actually quite a good performance from Antrim. I've got to say, fair play. I didn't think they'd be as close in the game as they did. I didn't see any of the game or anything like that, but just by looking at the result, fair play to Antrim. They did well. One game I did see, one game I was at, of course, was Dublin against Offaly, and yeah, Dublin were pretty poor here. Really good from Offaly though. I don't know if it was Offaly being so good, but Dublin being way off the pace. I suppose time will tell. But you've got to give Offaly credit. They looked really, really good in this game. Just their intensity they brought to the game, how physical they were. They looked really, really good, and Dublin just couldn't keep up with them whatsoever. And you worry a bit about Dublin going into this campaign. Of course, I think they do play Antrim next weekend, and you don't want Dublin to be a relegation candidate potentially from Division 1B. I think that would be a nightmare start for new manager Pat Gilroy. But Dublin did look way off the pace. Limerick, of course, did look on the pace. They comfortably dispatched Laois 125 to 18 points. Some fantastic displays out there. And you've got to give Limerick a lot of credit for this victory. Of course, it would always be difficult for Laois to try and keep up with Limerick. Of course, two teams, although they're in the same league essentially, they are miles apart in terms of class. So good result there for Limerick. Of course, they'll be hoping to kick on a bit more going into this year's championship. So yeah guys, that has been the end of the video here. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Do drop a like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you all next week. Good luck.